So welcome back to the More Life podcast. I mean, I'd say More Life podcast. Usually it's me and Jack, but it's just me today with one of my clients, Paul.
Hello.
And Paul has been working with me over the last few months, had some crazy fucking shifts in his life. We're going to speak about it on this podcast today, and it's going to give you a really deep understanding of the work that I actually do with my clients. It's not just fitness. It's actually stepping into a reality you want to experience. It's creating the life that you really want. But you're going to understand how that works, the different ways that we do it, and the shifts that Paul's had that, to be honest, I still can't believe. It's pretty fucking crazy. He's setting 12-month goals and achieving them within a few months. He's setting a target to hit within a month and collapsing that into a couple of days. So the reality of it is, if you watch this podcast, you're going to have nuggets to take away and apply to your own life. But you're also going to understand how easy and quick things start to shift when you have a change in your mind. So soak the fucking podcast in. And I would say we're back, but we might be back. The podcast might be back. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But enjoy the podcast and I appreciate your time and attention. Hopefully you gain something from it. And if you don't, I think you're lying, because you definitely will. So Paul, we're starting off the podcast with a good question. What have you got now that you didn't have before you started working with me? And this can be anything. Mindset, it could be things in your life, physical results. Whatever that is though, you tell me, what have you got now that you didn't have before you worked with me?
The number one thing would be awareness. Like awareness of my thoughts and how my thoughts dictate my reality, how that dictates my actions, and then that will dictate my results. So I've always been fairly aware, but then speaking to you, the awareness you've given me is like, just, I've had such a massive shift from that. Just like the awareness is like the number one thing, which has led to physical results, which has led to results in my business, working with clients and getting them shifts. But that all came from awareness at the end of the day.
When you say awareness, for people that might not really understand the concept of what you're talking about, what is awareness to you? What exactly does it mean? So you say awareness around thoughts, how they create your reality. I mean, that's fucking 2 rabbit holes within itself. But to you, what's awareness and how is it actually impacted how you live your life?
Well, the first part is like genuinely understanding how your thoughts dictate your reality and the laws within that, and how you can attract things. That things don't just happen to you, you attract it. The second part would be honestly probably just that, like that main thing. Awareness to me is that I'm probably at a deeper understanding of myself, who I am, like why I'm here, what I want to do with my life. Like before I was kind of going through like, what am I actually doing? I didn't really know where I was going. I didn't know my next steps. And then having that like self-awareness of, right, okay, this is my purpose and this is where I want to go and this is what I'm doing to get there.
Perfect. So a lot in there, right? But one of the things that I've really noticed about you is before, like you're saying there, the lack of clarity and the vision created a bit of confusion. But when you say awareness, what I gauge from that and what you've had as a shift is you're now aware that when thoughts come in, you don't necessarily need to feed the thoughts that come in. Like, you can't control the thoughts that come in, but you're in control over feeding whatever thoughts do come in. And that will then lead to you feeling a certain way. And what you've started to realize is when you think a certain thought, when you feed that thought, it makes you feel a certain way and makes you act in a certain way. So now when you're getting thoughts in, you seem to have gained this awareness around, does that thought serve me? Does it align with my higher self? With the awareness around the thoughts coming in and how they create your reality, I'd be interested to ask, how do thoughts create your reality? Like, again, I know you've learned that from me, but what's your understanding of that? What does it mean to you?
Well, from the understanding that I've gained from you, obviously you have much deeper, but like your thoughts are energy and the energy goes out into the universe and you attract that. So yeah, people speak about like the law of attraction, but that's like the secondary law to the law of vibration. I never knew that. So when I first read The Secret, and that talks about how your thoughts dictate your reality, it doesn't really tell you how it does that. It's not really a deeper understanding of it. And it's not until you maybe understand the law of vibration, which you've taught me, and how the energy output you'll get back. So like your thoughts are energy. You can see it like leaving the body in certain types of photography. And that would be it.
That's fucking powerful as fuck. So what you've learned there for the people listening, Paul before was experiencing things in his life and he didn't really know why those things were happening. And then I started to ask him, like, what's going on? Are you happy with it? Are you not? And he said, nah, I'm not really happy with X, Y, Z. And one of the most important questions that you can ask anyone is, what do you think about it? And what he kept thinking about was the fact that he didn't like what he had. And what that does is it starts to feed and it keeps alive the things that he didn't want in his life. So one of the main things, like within the first week, Paul said to me, bro, I was with a consultancy for 2 years and I've had a bigger shift within the first week than I did in 2 years of this consultancy. And it was all because of the awareness that he said at the start he's gained. But it was around the reason why he had in his life what he had at that point. And what he had was a lack of time. So he was like starting to resent his one-to-one clients because he wanted more time freedom. And I asked him, like, again, what do you think about that? How do you see your life set up? And he said, well, I actually feel like I've got no real time freedom. There's nothing that's actually allowing me to give myself time to maybe go on a little trip or have freedom away from doing this. I just feel locked in. I feel completely would you say like trapped in your job? Like speak about how you felt there, and like even if you can remember, which I'm sure you will, how did the work that we done allow you to have a shift that took you away from that thought process of I don't like this and I'm trapped?
Well, it was you were getting me to remember like all the achievements I had, because there was this kind of thing where I was like, I'm good at this, I'm good at one-to-one PT, working with people in person, but I didn't feel that I was going to get the same result working with people online because I hadn't did it. But it's literally just the same thing, if not better, because you can put more time and attention into programming things for people online, which actually gets them the result, rather than just being in person and being a rep counter. The other thing when we first came in, I don't even know if you remember this, but remember you said do a session at the start, do a session at the end, and then do like 2 calls or more online stuff in between, which like freed up about 10 hours. Within a month, I freed up like 10 hours.
So what I did was I asked you the question. I said, Paul, is there any chance that you could structure your one-to-one sessions in a way that give you more time in the month? Like, is there any chance you can maybe put your one-to-one sessions in the first week and then not really have any week 2 and week 3 of the month, and have them in the second week? And you position it to your clients like, right, we're going to give you a little bit more competent or a little bit more freedom to be more competent during the middle of the month. But what that done for you was it freed you up. But what you didn't know before was that was a possibility. You didn't think that was a possibility until I asked the question.
It was just the right question that you asked. And then I answered it because I was like, well, yeah, I can do that. And in fact, that's probably the next step. And then the step after that might be fully online. So instead of just like ripping up and going from like A to B or A to C, going A, B to C. And it worked a lot. It's worked a lot better for me.
And now you're like slowly transitioning your business online, giving yourself more freedom, and really, really clear where you're going. What stopped you? Because like there'll be a lot of people, well, hopefully a lot of people watching this, right? But there'll be people watching this that'll be probably in the same position as you, like whether a coach or whether just in a business and they feel limited. What stopped you thinking about the way in which you could free up more time? Like what actually prevented you from having those thoughts, do you think? What did you not have in your life that didn't allow you to think about it?
Probably I didn't have the right question. Like you didn't, like I need to know the question, and you don't know what you don't know. So you need someone in your life who's going to challenge your belief system. And until you can get that, you might just be unaware.
Completely.
And then you shift the paradigm.
100%. One statement that my mentor said to me was the difference between people that are successful and not is the ability to ask better internal questions. And most of the time, we can't even ask ourselves the right external questions to get those better internal questions. It usually needs to come from someone else. So you're trapped in this business. You're like, oh, fucking, I'm limited with my time. I'm starting to resent one-to-ones. And then I came along and asked you the question. I said, well, is there a way that you could maybe free up some time? That question, that external question was so fucking simple, but allowed you to break the constant thought process of, I can't do it, I'm limited, I don't like the one to, like you're wrapped up in these thoughts. And if you understand, you become what you think about, which is like, again, a law of the universe. And just to kind of touch on the laws that Paul had mentioned, and this is something that I do reinforce with clients, is the laws of the universe that we live in. Every single one of you watching this believe in the law of gravity. You believe if you jump off a building, you're going to hit the ground and die. So, and even if you don't believe in the law of gravity, if you jump off the building, you're still going to hit the ground and die. So the laws that I teach my clients about, the laws of the universe, law of vibration is a primary law. It states that every single thing vibrates, including us, including our thoughts, including our feelings, right? And if you actually start to understand how these laws work, you can take advantage of the laws to start to influence the life that you experience. So one of the first things that Paul mentioned was that he got given awareness by me. Most of the time, I give him awareness by asking my question. But one of the things we spoke about with the different laws, once he started to understand that the things he thought about and how he felt sent out a vibration, whatever that vibration was, aligned with a life that had the same vibration in it, and therefore gave him an experience that aligned with that vibration, he started to question what he was thinking about. And he started to question if those thoughts would actually serve him moving forward. And therefore, he started to become in control of the things that he fed, the thoughts that he fed, the way that he felt. He was starting to actually control the way that he felt, and therefore the vibration that he was sending out, and therefore the lifeline or the life that he tapped into and started to experience. So the awareness that Paul get given around your thoughts create your reality, it wasn't just as simple as, by the way, Paul, your thoughts create your reality. He had a reality that he was in that moment in time when we started coaching. I said, do you like where you're at the moment? He was like, no, that's why I'm fucking here working with you, of course. And then I started to allow him to understand and become aware of why he was experiencing what he was experiencing. It all came from the way that he was thinking. As soon as he gained the awareness to change what he thought about, which changed how he felt, it changed how he started to vibrate and send out frequencies to align with a life that gave him more opportunities. One thing I want to touch on this podcast was an opportunity that you couldn't write. Like, it's crazy. Like the boy that randomly walked out the house.
Yeah.
Like, when Paul started to shift to how he thought, it's from, I can't do online, I'm not able to do this, I'm trapped in my job. All these limiting beliefs that, until I questioned them, controlled his fucking life. When he started to change how he thought, change how he felt, had a vision of getting more online clients so he could connect to that vision and feel it, Paul, tell them, when what happens is, right, so the law of attraction is a secondary law to the law of vibration. So whatever you vibrate on, whatever frequency you're on, you will attract things that are on that same vibration. So if you're on these low vibration, you're thinking negatively, you're feeling negatively, you're going to attract shite into your life. If you're thinking about all the joy, the peace, like Paul thinking about being in Australia, making his money that he wants to make, hitting the targets, he started to focus on that and feel really good. And when you do that, because like attracts like, as the law of attraction states, you attract into your life the frequency that you're sending out. Paul, tell them the opportunity, the random fucking thing that when you shifted your thoughts and your feelings, you attracted into your life that you couldn't write.
I will say, I don't know if you want to touch on really quickly before that, the experience that we've had where you've messaged me at the right time. I don't know if you would rather touch up on that first.
Either way, bro, we could just go on the mad example that spoke to you.
I'll just go first then. So I was on Instagram and I seen this guy pop up and I was like, well, this guy's cool. Like, he's got good vibe about him. He's in his school uniform. I'm like, mad respect for, posting what he was posting. So I clicked on his profile and never seen him before. I liked his stuff. And again, same thing the next day, came up on Instagram. And I was just walking around my state and I was thinking, like, I want to work with this guy. Like, this guy is he's a perfect client. Like, I want to meet him. I want to talk to him. And I was on a call with someone. I think it was my mum. And I was just walking around the block. And as I was walking around the block, this person that I'd seen on Instagram that I'd followed the day before walked out his house at the exact same time that I walked by his house. And then I was like, I just seen you, shook his hand, got his number. And from there, been working with him, talking to him. I've helped him, he's helped me. And that literally just all happened. Like, I couldn't tell you how it was going to happen, but I knew that I was going to work with this person one day, and he just so happened to walk out of his house as I was walking by his house while I was on the phone. And it was just a pretty mad experience. That was one of the biggest, or it was probably the first experience of using the laws in my favour.
Yeah, this shit actually working.
Yeah,
That's what
literally.
I'm saying. It's like the first time that Paul seen this, he was like, voice noted me and said, bro, you're not going to fucking believe what happened. I've just completely randomly, this boy, this client, this lead that came into my Instagram that I thought, right, I'm going to work with him, I'm going to work with people like him, randomly appeared on my street. Never knew he lived in the street, nothing like that. And this is what happens when you start to shift the vibration and the frequencies you're putting out. You then shift into a lifeline and attract things that are on that same frequency. Opportunities, people, conversations, money, whatever it is. Whatever the life that you're tapping into, whatever frequency that you shift into, whatever that aligns with, you're going to attract into your life through the secondary law, the law of attraction. And that's what happened to Paul. As soon as he started to go from thinking, like, if you think about the life when you came to me, the experience that you're having was, I'm trapped in this one-to-one setting. I've not got time. That's all you thought about.
Yeah.
And was anything changing?
Nothing.
Nothing was fucking changing.
Nothing. It's the same result because you're thinking in the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And within, what, a week,
Yeah.
things start to shift completely.
Yep.
Right? You're getting new clients come on board. Ideal clients are coming to you.
Yeah.
Like, all
You're
these,
just meeting random people, like,
as soon as
or
you
not
shifted.
random, but you understand that the coincidence isn't a coincidence.
Yeah, well, most people that don't understand how the world works and the laws that govern it,
Yeah.
they think things like that are random.
Yeah.
But it's not. And this is what, again, the work that I do, people ask me, Kyle, what is it you actually do? Like, do you do PT? Do you do mindset coaching? Like, what the fuck actually do you do, right? And essentially what I do is I help my clients think better, but I also allow them to become aware of why they're experiencing what they're experiencing right now. A lot of my clients come to me with the potential to get so much more than they're currently getting. Usually it's a limiting belief that's holding them back. Usually they're unaware of the fact that they're in these constant thought loops of thinking the wrong things and thinking about the fact that they don't want XYZ, which keeps this thing alive in their life. And what I help them to do is create awareness around those thoughts and shift those thoughts in a direction that aligns with the desired state they want to experience. So Paul came to me, Kyle, I don't like the situation I'm in, the experience that I'm having. He went from that to thinking about how good it will feel to have an online business. The next week, he starts attracting these clients that come out of nowhere, but in reality, because the work that we've done, he's allowed himself to think in alignment with the version of himself that has the success, start to feel like the guy, and then attract that opportunity into his life. And it is really that simple.
Yeah.
And people overcomplicate this.
Yeah. And the thing that we had as well, like, where there's been times where I'm like, I'm going to call Kyle, and then I don't call Kyle. And I've thought about phoning him or texting him, and then 2 minutes later he's phoning me. Like, I can feel something's wrong. Really, like, you can be like, what's up with you? I'm not even spoke to him.
Yep.
And it's because he's tapping into that frequency. You're in flow state, and you're able to feel that.
100%. A cool analogy that I like to use, and it's cool because we don't even need to keep this focused around like the work we've done together. We just have a fucking good chat because we always do have good conversations. But the way I like to conceptualize it for people that don't really understand this shit, right? So see when I phone your phone number, or any of you guys watching phone someone that you know, right? You put their number in, you click phone and you call that person. You don't call anyone else. You only call that person. It's because you're tapping into their frequency. You're tapping into their phone, right? There's no wire attached from your phone to their phone. You can be on the other side of the world and you still phone that one person through this invisible field of energy. Your brain is the same. Your brain does the same thing, but with thoughts. It's like this signal tower of thoughts, and when you send these signals out, the thoughts, and you direct them with emotion, you send the signal out, and whoever you're thinking about, they will, as long as they're in like a receptive, open state, they're going to feel that. They're going to notice it. They're going to register that thought. So Paul, negative headspace literally last week, and because he's going through big shifts in his life that we can talk about the results that you're getting quicker than you could ever imagine. Yep. But Paul, like, I felt like Paul, there's something not right with Paul. So I just phoned him. He was like, bro, fuck off. 10 minutes ago, I was actually thinking I should probably message Kyle. And because I'm in this receptive kind of headspace, I'm a bit more open, I'm in flow state recently, I got that signal sent by Paul. And it's the same signal that your phone sends when you phone someone through that invisible ether, that energy field that you can't see. People are thinking you're fucking crazy by talking about this. But if you can understand how a phone does it, your brain works in the exact same way, but with thoughts, and your heart sends out feelings. It's the same thing, the exact same thing. And that's why you can feel something's up, and then you phone someone like, oh, I was just about to phone you. It's because we're consistently sending out these signals. In the same way that you send out these signals and people can receive them, you send out signals that come back to you in experiences, opportunities, people, ideas, right? If you're locked into the worst, lowest frequencies of like guilt, shame, anger, fear, you're not going to get any good experiences come to you in your life. But if you cannot actually understand, and this is what we done with Paul when he first came to me, we looked at what his life was doing in that moment, and we understood why it was happening. Once we understood why it was happening, we then understood or allowed him to understand how he could then influence it moving forward. And that's, again, like the awareness that he get given when he first said awareness wasn't just over the thoughts that he was thinking, because that's a simple question to ask him, but it was over, like he said, how his thoughts were creating his reality. And hopefully by now it's pretty clear what that actually means.
Yeah, not like that. The thing about that as well, like, no one can take that away from you. Like, once you've gained that awareness, you can really understand why you're getting the results you're getting, whether it be good, whether it be bad.
Yeah, fully.
Because you understand that you've got the awareness now.
And to add also what I do, to add the second layer, maybe I need to brush up on what the fuck I actually say about what I do. But essentially what it is, it's a reality creation. It's like understanding, right, you're experiencing this thing in your life. You're maybe not getting results, or you're not happy with where you're at. Why is that happening? making you aware of that, and then understanding the cause of that effect, the experience that you're having in that moment, it allows you to then start to influence your life moving forward. Once you gain that awareness, like you're saying, of, right, I had this experience, I was getting these results that I wasn't happy with, I had this shift in my mind. I started to remove limiting beliefs. I started to tap into the law of vibration, the law of attraction with how I was thinking and feeling. And because I was attached to this ideal reality, this desired state, this clear vision, I could tap into that vision. Because my brain does not know the difference between a vivid imagination and a real life experience, I actually started to feel like the guy that had already done it. When you start to feel like the guy that already done it, when we talk about sending out these frequencies and vibrations, you start to align with a life where you have that success. And that's how, when Paul came to me within 2 weeks, he was like, bro, I've had a bigger shift than 2 years working with a consultancy in my life, how I see things, the opportunities I'm attracting. And it was all down to that shift that he had in his mind and the thoughts and feelings that he was sending out to the universe.
Yeah.
Literally. So how has the work that we've done together changed your view on your future?
It's a good question. It's made me certain that the future that I've written out in my vision is going to manifest, is going to materialize. Because before I met you, like, I still was someone who was fairly aware. I was still on a decent track, but I was kind of had a big spike, and then I trodden along for 6 months. And you always think, right, yeah, I'm going to achieve that. But in the back of your mind, you're like, no, you're not. You know, you don't really believe it because you're not showing up as the guy. You're not. You don't even have a clear vision, so you don't even know where you're going. So how are you going to get there? So the work about the future is like, there's an undeniable successful future ahead of me, and I can say that with full confidence.
And did you not have that belief before?
Never. It's one of those ones where, like, people probably relate to this, but you think you've got it, but you know at the back of your head you don't have it. Yeah. You've got that wee voice telling you that you're not going to get it. And if you've got that wee voice telling you you're not going to get it, then you won't. Yeah.
And I don't know if you've answered this with the awareness, but what is the difference? Like, what has allowed you to now feel like, no, that future's locked in and certain?
Because if you take aligned actions with the vision that you have, and you show up every single day, and you understand that your thoughts dictate your reality, and so do your actions and behaviors, then there's no way that you can fail.
And there we go. Actually, if you have a clear vision, you know what you want.
Yeah.
There's a clear desired reality. You understand how that guy thinks, how the guy feels, how the guy acts.
Yeah.
You understand there's a process to get there. You don't know exactly how things are going to pan out, but that's the fun part.
Yeah.
But you understand that must happen. And just like the phone that everyone's using to watch this was an idea in someone's head, so is your reality.
Yeah.
And if you think about the crazy fucking aspect of an iPhone compared to you building a successful business, it makes it pretty stupid to doubt. Yeah. And now you've got that level of certainty. You understand what dictates the reality you experience, and the fact that you have control over the thoughts, which is the thing that actually dictates what you experience.
Yeah.
You've got complete influence and control over the reality you live.
Yeah.
And knowing that going forward has allowed you, like you just said there, to have complete certainty and faith that that result will happen.
Yeah, and it's so obvious. Like, even last week when I called you in a bad state, and I was kind of fearing something of the unknown, and my thoughts weren't the best. I'm not perfect. Like, I'm so much better, but I've got work. And the actions that I was doing, because my thoughts were negative, was leading me down a path. And you can see why so many people get caught up in this loop of negative thinking, then negative action and negative results. And it's so easy to fall down that path until someone asks you the right question. Mm-hmm. But because I've got that heightened sense of awareness, last week I knew I was going down that road. Like, I knew I was going down that road, and my actions weren't good. And it just reinforces, like, the result that I got last week, or 2 weeks ago probably, like, was completely because of my thinking. Like, completely because of my thinking. Mm-hmm. And I was choosing those thoughts as well. You have the ability to choose the thoughts.
Exactly. And you know, knowing that is where the power is. That's why you're in the position of power to now influence your life and understand that. If that's the case, and if you have gained the awareness, and if you now know that your thoughts create your reality and you have control over your thoughts, why would you say that you still tap into the coaching? What do you think the value you still get is from a coach?
Yeah, there's so much value, but it's for someone to keep you in alignment, or even when you spoke about forgetting, sometimes you just forget that your thoughts dictate your reality. You just straight up forget it. So having that reminder, the information that you learn, because you're going through the process of learning as well, and then you're teaching us. So then because you're teaching us, we're learning more, and then we can implement that into our lives and get better results.
Perfect.
So it's not as if you're just stagnant and you've learned all this information and now that's it. Like, you're still learning more, and you're learning at a fast rate, which you can pass down to us.
Yep. So the accountability and the ability for you to get held to who you actually want to be. Because that's what a lot of people do is, and a lot of people watching this might be in relation to what I'm about to say is, you know, you've got the potential, but you're just not doing the thing you know you should. And it's not because you can't do it. It's because there's no one holding you accountable to do the thing you know you should. And because there's no one externally questioning you. And the way that I phoned Paul last week, if I didn't phone him and interrupt that negative cycle, that loop of, oh, like, this is going to go wrong, this might not happen, he wouldn't have changed his actions to start doing what he knows he should. But that accountability that I gave him, the reminder of you're in control and you can do it, that allowed him to get back on the right track. And a thing I've seen recently Layla Hormozi speak about is resilience. Like, what is resilience? Resilience is the ability to get back to baseline as quickly as possible. So like, we are not robots. We're all humans. We're going to fall off. It's inevitable. You're going to contradict yourself at some point. But having a coach to tap into to keep you in line is so fucking powerful, because it's inevitable you're going to fall off. That's why I've got a mentor that I work with. I practice what I preach. I pay my mentor double what I charge for my service, because I'm like, I see the value in having someone to talk to and someone to hold me to account. Because it's never the fact that we don't have the ability to do it. We just sometimes don't have the ability to do what we know we should all of the time. And the main reason for that is we forget. And the forgetfulness of the reason that the fact that you are in control, you can control your thoughts. We don't forget because we're stupid. We forget because life distracts us. The ability to focus isn't the ability to focus on one thing, because you can scroll for hours. It's not hard to focus on one thing. The ability to focus is the ability to not be distracted. And life will distract you. So to have someone there, someone in your corner to always hold you to that high standard and never let you slip, it's got to be one of the most important things you can have in your life if you're someone that's serious about seeing results.
And that's the fastest way to get it is staying in that state. Because you can be in that state for a week, and then what if you're not in it for the next week? Then you're just not going to get the result. So it's about staying in the state as well.
100%. And it's exciting because as I am stepping into this reality creation, this coaching that I'm doing with clients, the service is evolving. It's getting better and better and better. And something that I'm reinforcing recently is how to keep my clients in this state all of the time. And it's making sure they don't forget. If you just have in the front of your mind this information that you control your thoughts, and your thoughts control how you feel controls how you act, and you're in this consistent cycle of doing what you know you should because you don't forget that information, you can't lose. But it's inevitable you will forget, because life will distract you, because you're a human. But having a coach to keep you in touch with that information and keep it in the front of your mind and keep you accountable, you actually cannot lose if you've got the right coach that cares about you getting the result. And this is the thing as well, bro. I think, do you feel like you've had a coach mentor before that really didn't give that much of a fuck? Like, you were kind of just paying money to him, and it's not as if he didn't care at all, but you could tell the money was more important than the service he was giving you.
Do you?
Do I give a fuck?
No. Do you feel that you had a coach before that didn't?
I've had multiple coaches, mentors that I've had, and I'm like, they're just trying to get money from me. And I could understand that, because if there was a failed payment, that was the biggest problem. Whereas I was going to ask you the question, do you feel like any element of this has become more powerful, the service I've given you, due to the element of me giving a fuck?
To answer the question, I have had a mentor before. And like you said, it's not like they totally don't give a fuck, but it's not as authentic as what it should be. Or for the payment price, it's not as authentic as it should be. And a lot of the things that you learn from other mentors is quite external. So if you're talking from our line of work, it's like you've got like lead magnets, you do these training programs, these diet programs, and everything's like external. Whereas with you, don't get me wrong, I've taken things from your service and implemented them externally, but it's like an internal shift. It's like I'm now more sure of myself. Because I'm more sure of myself, the way I speak to my clients, they can feel the authenticity from me, and then they're getting shifts.
And that internal shift is what creates the reality experience.
Yeah.
You can never act in alignment with how you will always act in alignment with how you see yourself. And if you don't have an inner shift, you'll never be able to act in alignment with anything but how you see yourself inside.
Yes.
So when you shifted that inner self, you started to show up with more confidence.
Yep.
You got more results. You attracted the right clients.
Yes.
How surprised were you with how quickly things shifted and how quickly results came into your life?
Very, very surprised, because it was nearly instant. It was, like you said, 2 weeks. It was nearly 3 days. Like, don't get me wrong, the biggest shifts came after 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the what you've taught me and then the things I go and watch off of my own back, whether it be YouTube, it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
And when that was happening, was there an element of you that couldn't really believe things were shifting that quickly? Like, how is it this easy that I have a shift in here and this shit starts to change rapid? How did you process that?
I don't really know. It's not something that I've asked myself, because it was so effortless. Like it was that effortless that I probably haven't had that moment. I don't even know if that makes sense, but
I get it. It's almost like it happened without trying.
It was kind of like there's always been a calling for something, and that was it. And it felt right. So I didn't question it.
I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
When you say the calling, was it almost like you always knew you had the potential to step into?
Yes.
And that mindset shift that you had when we worked together unlocked that?
Yes, that, and I always knew there was a heightened sense of awareness and a bigger power at play in the universe, but I didn't know quite what it was.
Or how it worked. So Paul was aware enough to know that the experiences he had in life were happening for a reason. He's like, surely there's something fucking causing this. As soon as he understood what was going on, how this life he had, how the experience he had was actually coming together and what caused it, I mean, that's where the
power comes in, because you can be like, right, okay, now I know how it works. Because I know how it works, I can go and get more of it. And then because I can go get more of it, I get better results. Whether that be money, business, relationships, whatever it is.
Fucking 100%. Life is a mystery to most people. But a mystery is only a mystery to those who are ignorant to how it works. When you understand how life works, if you understand the laws of the universe and how things actually come together and how the experience that you're having is created, it's no longer a mystery. It's actually, at that point, something you can actually influence, something you can genuinely have control over.
Yep.
And it's something that, like Paul said, the results happened almost instantly. Once he gained this power of awareness, once he gained the ability to understand what was going on, how it happened, he was then able to have instant shifts, like honestly so quick. And I always say this to my clients, it's not if the results happen, it's how quickly they come into your life that will blow your fucking mind.
Yeah.
And that's where I was asking you there, like, were you surprised? And you're like, well, I've not actually processed that. It just happened so quick and effortlessly that I've actually not really had time to reflect on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other part to the mystery is like, when you first come in, you kind of, and I did do it last week, to be fair, but you fear the unknown. But now I'm learning the mystery part is you're learning more about yourself. So the unknown and you tapping into that and going there, because you will need to go there on your journey, is just you learning more about yourself, which is one of the best things that you could ever do. So now you go from a fear of taking this risk or a fear of going into the unknown to, no, I'm actually excited to do this because I'm going to learn more about myself.
100%. The way that I tend to look at my coaching is a lot of the time when clients come to me, they're not coming to me with a lack of, I can do this thing. They're coming to me with a lack of who they are. They don't know who they are.
Yep.
They actually don't know what they really want. And that's where the confusion comes in. They're like, I'm getting these results and I'm not getting these results that I want. And I've got 100 ideas and I don't know which one to fucking move forward with.
Yep.
And it's not because they couldn't do all the ideas and make them work. All of them are good ideas. That confusion is because they don't know what they really want.
Yep.
And what allowed you working with me to understand what you truly wanted from your life?
Well, the easy answer is the vision. But before that, and probably people watching, you'd probably never even asked yourself what you want. You've never even gave yourself 5 minutes to write it down on a bit of paper or type it out on the computer. Mm-hmm. So really asking yourself that question and doing it multiple times, because you can't expect to just know it right away. Like if you've never asked yourself, what do you want for your life? It might take you like 10, 15 times of doing it every single day. and then it might come to you, or part of it might come to you, and you still need to do the other part. So just having that awareness of taking the time to do that in the first place would be the first part of the answer.
Well, the vision has to be where you start.
Yes.
If you don't have a vision, where the fuck are you going?
Yeah.
People don't ask themselves that. Like, where am I actually going? What do I really want?
Yeah. And it's allowing yourself, because I don't know if you did this, but when you first write out your vision, you limit it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you write what you think you can achieve, not what you want to achieve.
You keep it safe.
Yeah, you keep it safe.
Yeah,
or
everyone
like at
does.
the upper end of safe.
Yeah, like I might have a really nice BMW.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I said something along the lines of, well, to be fair, bro, like the way Gio put it to me was like, right, if everything, one of the first questions that I asked my clients, and it's something that I done with my mentor was, if you had a magic wand, what would your life look like? And let's just play a fucking game. Let's take realistic out of the picture. If you had a magic wand, what would your life look like? And that allows you to tap into the biggest thing that you can imagine, the biggest thing you can create in your imagination, right? That question allows you to break the limitations and tap into that. That's what you really want. But that's the thing that people will be like, fucking don't be silly, magic wand, what the fuck are you talking about? You're limited in life. The only limitations that you have are the limits that you place on yourself in your own mind. And you're choosing to put those limitations on yourself. In fact, I would actually argue that most people aren't choosing to. I'd say most people are ignorant to the fact that they have those limitations.
Would you say that they're choosing once they get the awareness?
Yeah, so this is where the first thing that you said was Kyle gave me the awareness.
Yes.
The work that we've done together has allowed you to dig deeper into who you really are. And it's made you understand that I actually was shooting a bit low before. Maybe I was tolerating some bullshit behavior. Maybe when I actually audit my life, I've been wasting a lot of fucking time and not doing what I know I should.
Yeah.
Once you had that awareness of, I'm actually not doing what I should, then you've got the accountability for me going, right, cool, you've told me what you really want. What the fuck would that guy do?
Yeah.
And I'm holding you to Paul that's got the fucking millions. I'm holding you to Paul that's in Australia with a villa. I'm holding you to that guy. And then you've got this constant reminder of, what would that guy do? What would that guy do? And again, that's the big power in what I do with clients is allow you to understand who the fuck you are. And it's not just like, I'm Paul and I'm a coach. It's like, who the fuck really are you though? What's your authentic self? What do they look like? What do you really want out of life? What would you achieve if you had no limitations? Asking those kind of questions that people never fucking ask you, and I love asking hard questions, it allows you to ask yourself these internal questions and find answers that you would never have if I never asked you those questions. So it's super fucking powerful. But it's funny because a lot of clients, they come to me and you didn't really feel like this because you came to me with full humiliation, humility, sorry, not humiliation. You came to me with
Humiliate me,
came to me with full humility, right? And you're open to the questions.
Yeah.
But the work I do with clients the only way that it won't work is if a client's got an ego they can't shift. Because I am really exposing you for what you really want, and then I do not bullshit you when you're not doing what you know you should. Like, there's a no bullshit approach. Like, what is the word
Have you had that?
What?
Have you had that?
What clients?
I've got too big an ego.
Oh, fuck, bro. I had that guy recently, and he was like, oh, I get like your vision things, like your whole ethos, but I just don't agree with it. I was like, right, sorted.
Nice.
You know where you're going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, without a vision, where the fuck are you going? You don't know where you're going without a vision. So his whole thing was convincing himself that he didn't actually want to do the vision. I'm happy with where I'm at. I was like, if you're happy with where you're at, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we working together if you're happy with where you're at?
Think he was happy with where he was?
No. So it's like, you wouldn't have in the first place started working with me if you weren't happy with where you're at. If you were happy with where you're at, if you're completely content and satisfied with where you're at in life, you wouldn't even have thought of getting a coach, or you wouldn't even have thought that was relevant for us to work together. Do you know what I mean? So, no, absolutely not. It wasn't. But yeah, ego is something that will fuck a lot of people. But people, like, even people that have given themselves the time to watch this podcast, they probably don't have an ego that's holding them back because they're thinking, right, what does Kyle actually do? I want to figure out about what he's actually done with his clients. So let's speak about that then, right? What do you think, and it's not what you've gained or what I've given you, but the work that we've done, the process that I've taken you through, what do you think's allowed you to, what do you think's been the most effective thing that we've worked on? And if it is the vision like you just said, like, speak about how, like, what the vision is and how it's actually helped you. If it is that, but if it's not, then like the actual process that we've went through.
There's a lot. The vision is definitely one of them. But could I say something as simple as just you giving me information to pass on to my clients?
Potentially.
So just like the way that it's the knowledge that you've taught me that I can pass on. I know it's different because my line of work similar to yours, so you might be working with people who maybe don't do this.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the ability for my business to grow because of the information that I've learned that I can pass on.
Mm-hmm.
So probably that. But if I'm going back, it would be the vision, because it's like, it's the way you write the vision, and that's the process, isn't it? Like, people think, well, what is this?
Yep.
And it's not like just a wish list of, I want to have a Lamborghini when I'm 35 years old. It's like the way you write it in the present tense that literally gets your subconscious mind to experience that. Because like you said, it can't distinguish between a vivid imagination and what's actually reality. So you actually become one with that experience, and you experience that in the present tense or already ahead of the event in the physical reality. And through the laws, it will manifest. So that
fucking sick. Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. Like,
but it's how you write the vision, though. It's the important part.
Exactly.
Because when I first wrote it out, you probably did the same. You wrote out like, I want to have, or I will have.
Yep.
Then you realize that I will have is to assume that you don't have, and it's I am.
Yep.
I am XYZ. I am the creator of my own reality.
Yep.
And that's how you get the brain to fire.
Exactly, and that's how you get your heart, your brain, you're feeling these things, you send out these signals, these frequencies that align with whatever that feeling is.
Yep.
And because you're in this desired reality in Australia with the dream house, feeling what that feels like, you're then attracting opportunities to take you towards that.
Yeah.
Simply how it works.
And then you can take that a step further and go like, I'll just read part of my vision when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like such a good way to get up, like feel motivated as fuck.
Yep.
Read like, I'm in Australia, I'm sitting with my camper van, chilling, sunset coffee, my pals are around me, everything's good. It's like, what an amazing way to start your day.
Yep.
Rather than like snoozing, you know, you're flying out of bed, you're stressed out because you're late. Like the difference is massive.
It's crazy. And it's cool because I've got something exciting coming for clients in the next couple of weeks where we're going to do a full week of visualization calls. I'm going to guide them through a visualization call every single morning for a full week straight. And the power in that, they get to every single morning for a full week straight. We might continue to do it if it goes really well, which it will. They get to actually step into and experience that reality. And this is what I'm saying. Most people just think about what they don't want. They don't even think about what they do want. But they certainly do not step into that reality and experience as if it's already fucking happened.
Yep.
And this is when you start to see huge fucking shifts in your life, like you just said there. The biggest thing that you've had is the ability to form a vision by asking the question.
Yep.
But not only form the vision, how to write it, how to feel it, how to experience it without it even being a real thing.
Yep.
And that honestly is such a powerful part of what I do. And maybe I'll find a better definition of what I actually do to like say to a camera for a reel. Try at the end of this pod in the next 20 minutes, we'll see if I can do it better. But the reality of it is, it's like, it is honestly, the work that I do just helps clients completely step into their potential.
Yep.
If I look at the biggest shift that my clients have, it's the beliefs that are holding them back, removing those beliefs so they can then step into their potential that they always had in front of them. There's always opportunities, and this is what people need to understand is the opportunities are endless. You've got an abundance of opportunities. There's nothing holding you back in life. There's no limitations. There's actually like the laws of this universe state that there's an endless supply of whatever you need, all the money, all the opportunities, all the whatever it is, right? Therefore, if that's true, which it is, because these laws operate like the law of gravity. If you don't believe in the law of gravity, if you jump off a building, you're still going to die. So these laws do work in that same way. So with that being said, when a client comes to me, I'm looking at them like, right, you're not limited. Where the fuck are you limited in your own mind? Once we remove those limitations, it's game on. You actually can't lose. If you have the accountability and you remove those limitations and you start to write the vision the way that we do it, feel from the present tense, send out these feelings, strong feelings like you already are the person, the laws get to work. Next thing you know, things are happening and coming into your life quicker than you can ever fucking imagine, which is super fucking cool. And it's how it works. And this is the work that we do. It's not just coaching or fitness coaching. It's reality creation is what we do. Hopefully that's decent. Hopefully we get a wee clip for Instagram for that, right? But someone that is, because a lot of people will watch my content and see what I do and they're like, oh, cool, he's getting results with his clients and what he does. I like his reels, they're very informative. What would you tell that person that's considering working with me or doing this type of mentorship and coaching?
Well, I think if they don't, they're missing out on probably the greatest information that you can have, which is how to create your own reality. Because it's not just, obviously you used to just be a personal trainer, wasn't it? Like me. It's not like just, oh, you're going to get in shape. It's like, no, you're actually going to figure out how you can live your dream life. And that's invaluable to people, isn't it? You know, people would pay X amount of money for that, because who wouldn't want to live that life?
Literally. Good fucking... I'm not paid, Paul, to say that. That's fucking
I
brilliant.
know, I feel like I should be paid.
I'll invoice me after this, bro. But essentially, that's what it is, though.
But like, yeah, I'm just speaking from experience, so.
Literally is. Like,
Yeah.
you know what, this is why we're doing this podcast, and I'm with Paul right now, is because he is a client that has mad shifts, and it's sick because I've only done this coaching really heavily in the last 6 months. And I've been working with Paul since I kind of started it.
Yeah.
And like from the first week of doing it, he was having big shifts. Never mind to now, what result have you had recently that you told me, I'm pretty sure you said the end of the year I'm going to get a house. But at some point, was it not at the end of the year? Or was it the end of the year I'm going to Australia and then like
end
September?
of the year was October. Yeah, it was about September, October time. So, yeah, well, the two biggest shifts, I'll get to that in a second, is one of my clients I'm working with, I've been doing this less than you, but he literally told me like 2 days ago that he's went to 3 or 4 different like psychologists, and he's never been able to fix what we say his mental health or his thoughts. And he's like, within a month, he's off all his medication. He says he's never experienced a shift like this with any medical psychologist. And that's not me putting them down. It's just that's the power of positive thinking. They've never unlocked that message to him that your thoughts dictate your reality. And when you think positively, positive things happen. And if you keep revisiting the negative experiences over and over again, then that's what your body gets used to, and you get the same result. So that was probably the biggest shift that I've had recently with one of my clients, was that he's off everything, and he's had a bigger shift in working with 4 psychologists.
That's
which is,
and it's and that's you taking the work that we've done into your service.
Yes,
that's fucking powerful as fuck.
The other one, around the house was, the goal was to get a house in September, October, but we've pretty much finalised it. Actually, today, I've not told you, but it's pretty much over the line. I think that's
We're in June.
I think that's from Rebecca. Will be watching this, my girlfriend Rebecca. So actually, from me teaching her how to manifest, I think a big part of her manifesting or me getting this house was her learning how to, because that's another cool thing that I've taught her. All the things that you've taught me. And next thing you know, we've got a house in a beautiful location. It's exactly what we wanted. We got a good price for it. Everything went smoothly. And she's in a house that she's really happy and proud of. And so am I. So
got goosebumps.
And it happened so fucking fast.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like you're setting
like 2 weeks ago, we didn't even, you know what I mean? So
you're setting goals for October and it's June. Right? You're like, it's crazy fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? It's honestly, this is where this work does not work. I just honestly, being authentic on this podcast, I do not put enough content like this that's showcasing the things that actually happen with the people I work with.
Yeah.
Because it's new to me, right? Like Kieran, one of my clients, 2-year goal to get a gym. Within 2 months, he picks up the keys.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's amazing.
Bro, that is what happens though.
Yeah.
It's not if the results happen, it's how quickly they come into your fucking life that will blow your mind.
Yep.
And this is what we're saying about the shift you've had with how you coach people.
Yep.
And the shift that I've had with the coaching that I've started to do with this style, right? It's a lot more than one area of someone's life. It's like, right, what life do you want to step into and experience?
Yes.
This is how to do it.
Yeah, especially the people younger than us, the younger generation, I think genuinely need people like me and you, because around the house thing, like everyone's getting told houses are unaffordable, wages are stagnant, like you're never going to have home ownership or whatever it is, or an abundant life.
Yep.
Like that's the message from the media, that's the message maybe from your parents, your friends. And if you're around that circle all the time, then that's going to be your reality. So for a younger person maybe watching this, it would be a really good idea to get someone in your life who can show you how to manifest abundance.
Yep.
Or at least just challenge your beliefs on that. Like the wages are stagnant argument, maybe that you just need to get better. Maybe you just need to improve. And then you'll get the house and you don't need to listen to the mainstream media telling you that you're not going to afford anything.
Yeah, no, that's a good point to make, 100%. And this is why we put content out though, is for people to learn this wisdom. And I always say to my clients, right, so the work that I do now, when I'm reading books like, you have a drink if you need it, bro.
I'm all right, actually.
When I read books like The Kabbalion and I read books like The Power of Awareness and I'm passing this wisdom on to my clients, I do say to you guys all the time, like if you don't use this information, if you don't pass it on to people that you can help with this, you're being selfish.
Yep.
And this is where like I see this as like I've done work with a mentor, I'm doing work with Geo, and I'm passing that on to my clients to help you guys win the game of life is the phrase I always use. I mean, on my members area now, there's 42 videos, 42 weeks of how to win the game of life calls.
Mm-hmm.
Every call was like, mate, fuck has just happened in my life. Like you, like a quick comment on the kind of resources that I've got for you guys to tap into and listen to, like the Win the Game of Life calls.
Yep.
Like what kind of information is in there for you to soak in? How have you benefited from it?
Oh, massively. Are you talking about just in the members area or like the full service?
No, just in the members area, just the calls that I do. Like I do a weekly call for anyone that doesn't know, because you might not. I do a weekly call every single Monday with my clients. And the last 42 weeks of calls have been Win the Game of Life. That's the title.
Yeah, like first of all, it's on a Monday, so it's like the start of the week, which is a perfect time to do it because it gets you into alignment for the rest of the week. And you're learning different things. Like that's when you are doing a lot of the teachings, whether it be the thoughts, the laws, whatever it is, and you're soaking up all this information. You've got time to digest it, write it in a notepad if that's what you want to do. That's what I do. And then you can go back and read that. So like for those calls, like obviously me and you do weekly calls, but having the weekly call plus the call where I can actually sit, like relax, take in the information is so powerful because that, like part of the process is learning and then implementing what you've learned.
Exactly. So the reality of it is,
there's too many topics for me to cover. There's like 42 videos, so there's too many.
There's so many, but just I was quickly looking for your kind of opinion on that as well, because again, people think as well, like coaching, what's it really give you? Like if you were to round up in one sentence, maybe quite hard, what having a coach, what working with me is giving you in your life. You say awareness, you can put that back into the sentence if you want.
Yep.
But if you're to round it up into one statement, one phrase, one paragraph, what did having a coach and the work that we've done together, what did it give you?
It gave me the most vital knowledge and awareness that I could ever have around my future. That would be one sentence for you.
Perfect.
That's one sentence, isn't it?
Perfect. So with that, obviously there, it's, what do you mean by that? Just for the people listening.
Awareness, again, learning who you are, who am I, where am I going, where I want to be, and knowledge of, I guess, could be, there's many meanings of knowledge in that sentence, but how you can manifest that reality through the awareness, how you can write your vision, giving you the knowledge of everything and how it works and how you can implement that into your life to get the desired outcome.
Perfect. What old habits have you lost that held you back? And how good do you feel that they are now old habits and you have developed, how do you feel now that you've developed new powerful habits?
Snoozing my alarm.
That
First of all, we just start from the start of the day.
Right.
Snoozing my alarm. The letting, it's like a net of your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, letting negative thoughts through the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. That was a habit ultimately, because you're having these thoughts, you don't even understand why you're getting results for your thoughts. Now you've got the awareness to fix that. So that habit of being like, if a negative thought comes in, remember I said to you at the start, I'm still getting negative thoughts, and you're like, yeah, of course you are. You're going to get negative thoughts, but it's like how you deal with it, and then over time they become a whisper. You know, they're maybe not a big loud bang, but they become a whisper. So every time that enters my mind, I shift it back to where it came from, and I just replace it with a positive thought. So that would be a great habit. Just having time to be introspective and think about my future was going from kind of stress mode all the time, obviously scarcity mindset, or I don't have time, I'm stuck and trapped in this way of working with my life and never actually, thinking the opposite of what I actually want. There's probably quite a few more gym. Just like we've never even really spoke too much. I know you do this with a lot of your clients, but we've not spoke too much about the gym. But just even me, like hitting it a lot harder. Like I've leveled my myself up. Like I'm the type of person, when I go to the gym, I'm training to failure now. Now I've went through that, of course. But maybe when I first met you, my gym sessions weren't as intense. But you haven't even gave me too much of a gym program, but what you've given me is the personal standard. And now I'm smashing the gym again harder than I've ever done or for many years.
You're just, what you're doing is now fulfilling the potential that you always had.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and you can compare it to your vision. That's the great thing about your vision. It's like another layer of accountability. It's like you can ask yourself, well, me at the end or me in the vision, would I do that? Would I train like that? And if the answer is no, then you just train harder.
There
So it's
we go.
another layer of accountability as well.
Literally. And that you've got this constant comparison to the version of yourself that is in the vision with the success. Most people don't even have that. Most people generally don't.
Yeah.
You had a this or that question that you
Yeah.
wanted to bounce off me, so do it, bro. You said it maybe.
I literally just made it in the car here because I just thought about it. It came to my mind.
Sound. Just fucking bounce off me. I love to get questioned.
So only 6 questions. I wanted to make more, but the traffic was crazy. Okay. First question is not a this or that, but if you could recommend to the people watching this, your top 3 book recommend. I don't know if you'd want to give that away. I know you've said that the books that you read should be illegal.
Yeah.
But what would your top 3 books be? And maybe give some why to that.
For most people.
On personal development.
So there's so many good books on personal development. For most people though,
yeah,
I'd say the easily most digestible books that will allow them to understand how life works, how the things that you're assuming about life start to experience, like those kind of things are right. So one really easy book to understand is The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. I think that's a super easy one to soak in and understand.
For sure.
I'll tell you my personal books, top books after this, right?
Yeah.
Number 2 would be Psycho-Cybernetics. Super simple to soak in and understand about how you have this mechanism inside of you, and how it operates is by the thoughts that you the images that you feed it, the things that you consistently imagine, quite similar to the Neville Goddard one. And at number 3, to make it again something you can soak in, to do with the laws of the universe and God, but maybe not in a way that's too lofty or not to understand, would be Working with the Law by Raymond Holliwell. Right, so you have
Never heard of that one.
So good, bro. It's like the 11
Working with the Law
by Raymond Holliwell.
Okay.
So good. So The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, and Working with the Law by Raymond Holliwell. My top 3 books, personally, number 1 is The Kabbalion, the Hermetic Philosophies. And this was written by the 3 initiates, but I think it's actually wrote by a guy called William Atkinson. And he was like a publisher of the Chicago fucking book publishing. And essentially he had based the Hermetic Principles book that he wrote off of 2 other people that had previously wrote about this same thing. And he called the book The 3 Initiates, so he could kind of give them credit for the work that they'd done. And the Hermetic Philosophies are all the ancient Greek philosophies of how the world works, like the different laws of the universe, like from the universe is mental, right? And like how essentially the world that we experience is governed by our mind. And it just relates to the work that I do, but that is my number 1 book, but most people would read it. See, when I said it to you, it's like a poem. Did you buy it and read it? No.
Not read The Kabbalion.
Like most people would read that and be like, what the fuck am I reading?
Yeah.
Right? But what I'd done was when I read it, I read it, and as I was reading it, I was obviously highlighting it, taking notes, and I was bouncing off of ChatGPT to delve deeper into it. So I really soaked in on a deep fucking level. So I love that book. Number 2 would be Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland, which is a book all about how you can influence the reality you experience, essentially. Again, all the kind of books that we're talking about, frequencies and understanding the laws of the way that the world works. One of the quote, I know you want this explanation.
Yeah.
The reason why I love it is because it really does allow you to understand that the thoughts that you send out carry a frequency, and it speaks about this alternate model, or the alternative model, which says that there is an infinite amount of potential lifelines that you can tap into and experience. Like so many different ways that you could have experienced life, and they all operate on a different frequency. And whatever frequency you put out, you tap into each of these lifelines with the same frequency that you're sending out.
Yep.
So essentially that allows you to understand that the way that I'm thinking and feeling will tap into a lifeline that I'll experience resonance frequencies, or resonance, the lifeline I tap into will be of a resonance frequency of the thing that I'm sending out, and therefore it gives you an understanding of why you're experiencing what you're experiencing now.
Yep.
Speaks a lot about pendulums and how like these thought forms steal your energy, and like how to avoid the destructive pendulums that ruin most people's lives. So super fucking cool book, like proper on a deep level. If you can understand that shit, I think you're winning at life. And then
the
third one is the one that I'm actually soaking in right now, is all about the hypnotic techniques and patterns, but of Milton H. Erickson, which is, he's one of the fucking best ever hypnosis hypnotists, and it's written by a guy called John Grinder and Richard Brandler, the guys that made NLP. So I'm reading that. That's my third favorite book because it gives me a complete understanding of how to master my craft and how to actually understand human behavior on a deep level, that I can actually coach people to rewire them from the fucking mind, not just coach them through things, which I like. It works. It definitely works with a lot of people. The awareness you get, the reframing of identity and all the things that we've done together has worked because we've had a full podcast. But to really go to the deeper layer and change people's fucking wiring in their brain, hypnosis is a really cool way to do it. And that's the kind of third book that I would say has changed my fucking life.
Nice. Okay, so this is a this or that.
Cool.
Not many questions. For some of them, it's one word answers. For the other ones, try and answer it in 1 or 2 or 3 words. Okay.
So another book that people should read, the other one, is The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I think that's a really easy book to also soak in and understand.
Okay, paperback or audiobook?
Paperback.
Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Ferrari.
If you could only pick one person to watch on the internet around personal development that's not you or your brother, who would you pick?
On the internet?
Yeah.
So just like anyone on YouTube?
Like Bob Proctor, like...
Nah, Gio McNee. My mentor.
Your mentor.
Genuinely, because the way that Gio puts things across is like understanding all the laws that we talk about, but not in a lofty way.
Okay. If you had to choose one thing about your service, which is the greatest part about it, what would you pick?
One part about my service is the one-to-one calls.
One-to-one.
It has to be when I have you on a call and I can genuinely change your state on the spot.
For sure. Property or crypto?
I mean, I'm not in either. So I think
If
I had to put money into either or right now, property. But I might be ill-knowledged.
Punch your brother or watch an entire season of Peaky Blinders in one day?
How hard did I punch him? Like, really punch him in the face?
Pretty hard.
Peaky Blinders is quite good, though, isn't it? I just hate wasting my fucking time watching shit that doesn't make sense, but or that's like unreal. Probably Jab Jack.
Okay. I've not wrote this one properly, but travel the world, but you're not allowed to come back to the UK. So you can go anywhere in the world, but you're never allowed to come back to the UK. Or you can go all over the UK, but you can never leave.
That's quite a fucking good one, isn't it? I'd travel the world, innit?
So you'd give up the UK? I personally would.
I
There's too much out there.
I think because this is what I'm saying. I think because like Scotland's so beautiful, so I'll generally, obviously this is hypotheticals, isn't it? So in the hypothetical, I wouldn't stay in the UK. Because if I'm like staying in the UK, then I'm staying in this consistent climate of like pissing down sun. Like I want to have the ability to travel and be in sunny countries. But if there was an option there that I had to pick, it would definitely be the ability to travel the world.
And never come back to the UK.
I would just fly the people I care about to me. Yeah, I'd just fly them to me.
That was it.
That was it, yeah?
Yeah. I wanted to do more, but traffic.
Traffic fucked you a little bit.
Yeah.
So, perfect. So I appreciate your time, bro. Good fucking shit. I think anyone watching this will have a good idea of the work that we do together.
Yep.
We've not detailed the formula I take you through, but I don't think there's any need to. I think highlighting the results you've already had gives people an understanding that you have a potential you can tap into. Always. But you sometimes have beliefs that don't allow you to see that potential, or would you say act in alignment to fulfill that potential. And the work that I do with my clients allows you to remove that limiting belief, but also understand how the laws of the universe work. Also understand how the reality you're experiencing right now, how that shit exists, and how to influence that moving forward so you can start to create a reality you actually desire. Because who doesn't want to step into a reality that they really, really love and really, really want to have as their life? Most people are unhappy. Most people are not satisfied. And if you're settling for less right now with the potential to do more, it's silly. And the work that I do will allow you to tap into that potential and experience a life that you know you can live. And Paul will agree.
For sure.